The relationship with my day job and my trustee practice is a really interesting one. I think it's easy to assume that you get all of the benefit from your day job and you give all of the benefit in your trustee job. Actually, my experience has been entirely the other way around, that being a trustee has enabled me to keep my feet really close to the ground in some instances. As a funder, you're quite far removed from the action. As a trustee, you're much closer to it. It's enabled me to meet different people and people from different walks of life who are passionate about the things I'm passionate about. It's taught me a huge amount about how organisations function. One of the great things about being a trustee is that you can hover slightly above and see the organisation operating, and you can see what levers to pull and push and how best to support people. It's taught me a huge amount, and I think it's made me a better coach and listener as well as a result. I think my personal development has grown alongside my professional development, both in my day job and as a trustee. I think being a trustee has taught me to step back, to listen more, to recognise that people bring different skills to a complex institution or complex set of problems, and that people can contribute in many different ways. Of course, I know all of that in my day job, but sometimes being a trustee allows you to step back a little bit more and see it more clearly.
I guess the area of expertise that you have is brought to bear with what's needed for the company, what we do, so bringing that to bear in there. The thing that I didn't have that I sort of wanted to look at when I started being on Connecticut Blocko's board was about governance and particularly board structures and what that structure meant for us as trustees, but also for the company. I didn't understand that, so I did a fair bit of research and reading about what that meant and what the responsibilities were, and being able to see and direct the work that they're doing from a sort of a outside perspective has also been really incredible. And knowing that a decision that you take in your room affects a certain number of staff, but also affects the direction of the company for the next couple of years, and what that means, and giving advice and giving advice in the most helpful kind of way.
The best thing for me serving as a trustee is learning. You get to meet some extraordinary people, you get to see what works well and what doesn't work well, so you learn from both situations. And the people, some extraordinary people who have dedicated huge amounts of their time and their experience and their effort and their money, but actually want nothing in return, or nothing perceivable, but what they're getting out of it is a group of people to connect with, an interest that they can help flourish and support, and they are meeting maybe people who are younger than them and keeping relevant and fresh. So they are the very best trustees I've met are the learners and the people who keep being interested and keep being curious about what it's all about and how things can change and develop. I think it's made me more resilient, and I think it's made me more ambitious. And the ambition comes from knowing a whole wider group of people, seeing how things work and don't work, and knowing where to look and where not to look in an organisation, in finding out what's going right and what really is going right and what really isn't going right, and just uncovering those things so that you can walk through life a little bit lighter, so you don't have a rucksack of kind of problems on your back, and you're starting to learn how to manage things better.
So understanding that language, understanding those partners, understanding those people that make it up is incredibly helpful. There are lots of times things that I see that I think are of interest and go, hey, so this could be of interest to your organisation, or I bring that learning to the board, or I take learning for my own organisation. I'm learning all the time. I mean, the benefit of being on a board is absolutely two-way. There is nothing about it being a one-way relationship. It is a two-way relationship. I learn a lot. I've grown a lot over the years from learning about how other people do things, and how not to do things. It's just as important as that in terms of my learning, and also building your network and learning about other people and other organisations. It builds your network up in a way that is entirely different to any other work you do, And because you're kind of all part of this family, the relationship and the way that you treat that relationship is much more sincere. So, you know, it feels different. You know, you feel connected to people.
I think the big thing I've learned about working with boards and being a trustee is about how to open up my practice to allow other people to contribute and comment and help. When I first took over the role I'm currently in, a lot of our board meetings, for example, were very retrospective. That we'd go and we'd talk about what has happened and issues that have come up, and we would talk about, you know, what we were going to do to sort of overcome them, and it was always a little bit firefighting. A lot of the struggle was about moving them from being looking backwards to looking forwards. So actually the trustees were part of planning, you know, our vision for the next few years. They were part of working out what our organisational priorities were. So when it came to those decisions, the trustees felt they had a significant input into what we were doing. I think that's really taught me in my own practice how to open up, to allow people to be part of those big decision moments, and to work enough in advance in order that people have the ability to throw their, you know, a few cents into how that might work and how that might happen. And it's taken a real shift in the way that I do things, the way that I think about my roles, not just in terms of artistic stuff and how we plan artistic work and how we calculate that risk and how we open up those conversations, but also, you know, as an exec, how you do your planning in a way that allows enough consultation for a board to be used to their sort of fullest of skills.